Hey, hey, you're back.
Hi.
And you went back into the cell?
Yeah. I am on
You
trial.
could have, yeah, I guess. You could have, like, hung out in here. Like, maybe they would have been fine with it.
I'd prefer for them to not even know that I escaped.
Fair enough. Okay, well, you escaped. I also escaped. I got everybody some warp scrolls. That one's for you. This one's for you.
Why would I need these?
It's if shit gets bad kind of scroll. We get the fuck out.
What do you mean if shit gets bad?
I don't know if I trust Jegg at the moment.
Do you think she's gonna, give me back to the horseman?
Maybe? I don't know. She might try to, just execute you on the spot as well, for all I know. I mean, I wanna... Better to be safe than sorry.
If Jegg decides that I die today, I'm fine with that.
What?
No.
This is out of my hands. I feel like I've done a lot where I vanish for a while and then I end up dead or harmed or different. If Jegg decides that I am held responsible for the people who I harmed, I am fine with that.
Okay, but I'm not fine with it.
It's not your choice.
Listen, I doubt Jake has the balls to try and even kill you anyway.
I'm-
It's just more... I don't know, this event is just... It's so public now that I'm like... For all I know, the horsemen are going to show up. They know that this is happening. There's no way they don't know that this is happening, first and foremost.
I think they know, but they're curious to know how it's going to end.
Exactly.
I mean...
Why I'm worried.
If they let me live, they'll probably attack. If they kill me, they'll probably do nothing because Cumton will fall.
It really is just a lose-lose situation for Jegg, huh?
I have faith that Jegg will come up with something.
I hope so.
Yeah. But
Believe it or not, I like this town, but...
regardless of what Jegg picks, I need you guys to accept that her decision is final, okay? I'm sorry if that's a lot and incredibly selfish of me, but I would like to stop fighting. At least the way that I have been. And yeah. But hey, I mean, at least we have these hours. And if I die today, then I want the both of you to know that you have been amazing friends. And that my life has been infinitely better with you two in it. I love you.
I don't like it when you get sappy on me.
I don't either.
Last time you did this, you were actually a ghost, so...
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll come back as a ghost.
And then there's gonna be two... Oh, that would be funny. The
Man.
afterlife, but it's just Aroben Altrey.
Shouldn't the ghost be controlling him? Or
I don't really know. I mean, the ghost is kind of... For a long time, she was always around Teafling, but I don't really know where... Okay.
well,
Well.
Hey, real quick, is that like full? Are my eyes deceiving me? Is Tiefling back?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, he's been... I mean, I don't really see him very much. This is the first time I've seen him in Cumton, but I guess
Yeah.
Aroben was working on that. We should We should go. They saw
Aroben
us.
was. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah. I will be so normal. I'm so normal. I'm so regular.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Is he doing okay?
Still bleeding out, but
You didn't get him any medical attention?
we did.
I bandaged him.
Okay.
And his
So,
we've stopped the bleeding for now, but
so he's not bleeding out.
for now, I don't know how to give him stitches. Do you?
You guys,
I did my best, but
Yeah, we're not medics.
okay.
That's-
I know some emergency sewing tricks that can be used for skin.
Well, he's mostly skin, so
Tiefling.
Delightful.
what?
He's not wrong.
I'm being honest.
I just, when I said to watch him for the night and you said to not bring anyone else here, I thought like you'd have it handled. That's all.
I mean,
we do have
we
a
do
handle.
have a handle. Look at him. He's way better than he is. We gave him an eye patch to cover that hole in his head, and
Take one sip, then you give it back to me. That should stop the pain for a while.
Do you want to try some of mine?
No, mine is
Alright.
prescribed. I don't trust you.
Prescribed by. We don't have a doctor in Cumton.
Yeah, we do.
Who?
ooh,
Dude, Jaw's like 300 years old. He's got like 1,000 degrees.
Oh.
What do you mean, who?
right.
They've been like literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't been here in a while, so.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't been here in a while.
Aroben.
Yeah, good point.
I'm gonna let you out, okay?
Alright.
Alright. So, the way this is gonna go, everyone's over at the clubhouse. We're gonna go in, get situated. We're gonna explain why we're there, and I'm gonna give you the chance to speak first, of course. And then we're all just gonna go around, say how we feel. Okay. I appreciate you all. We can get going. Sooner the better.
Sure, go first.
I wish I could say that the Fae were here, but they've got something going on at the moment, so I'm afraid they couldn't make it.
Yeah. Well, with the spread of the withering, it's probably for the best they stay further from here.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Everyone can take a seat wherever you're most comfortable, but Aroben, I would appreciate it if you stood here. People of Cumton, those who remain, these are dark times. The last few months, the last few years have been confusing, they have been heartbreaking, and I know that we're all just doing our best to get by. That said, things have happened these last several months that cannot go unaddressed. I wish I could say that I had a solution for the Horsemen, for the Withering. Ultimately, all that I have to offer is the diplomatic relations I have attempted with the Nether. But on the subject of the Nether, things have been done to them. Damage has been done to that world that is inexcusable despite the dire straits we find ourselves in. As we all speak today, I just ask that you all have empathy for them, but also for your fellow Cumtonites. Aroben, before we go any further, you have the floor to say whatever you need to.
I am. Whatever the results are of this case, this trial, I accept it. I don't have any intentions of fleeing, running, or anything. I accept this.
Thank you, Aroben. As we start this off, and Aroben, you are welcome to take a seat, I would first like to ask Benni to take the stand to lay out the facts as we understand them of what has happened. After the fact, Teafling, Yukari, whichever one of you would like to go first. I understand that you'll be representing Aroben as character witnesses. Benni, you have the floor.
Golgotha, the machine built, was based on a system of using lava to burn archwood at a much higher rate to gather the source. To my knowledge, that is the system at work. Correct, Aroben?
It was one of the functions of Golgotha, yes. Not the primary.
But the primary source involved, the primary fuel involved just taking lava in.
Yes.
Very logically, from a business perspective, the place with the most infinite source of lava, seemingly, is the Nether. So that is exactly where this has been located. It is something that is very easy for us as people living here to overlook and to ignore and to assume that certainly it couldn't have been that bad. I mean, the Nether's so hot already, it's so full of lava. Certainly they could spare a little bit. At this current time, the affected numbers are in the 10,000s. I have recently been informed that around 200 have suffered fatal injuries. And even still, we could sit here and act like it's only going to be a problem for the Nether, that the food that they've lost, the people that they've lost, the habitat is only their issue. It's on the other side of a portal. We don't have the resources to not care about every plant, every person. For one thing, if the Nether cools to a point in which people can no longer live there, they will need to flee. There are many folks who live in the Nether who can handle the temperatures in the overworld and stay in the Nether because it's better suited for them, but if they run out of food, if they run out of resources, then they will likely come here. We don't have the food for that. We don't have the produce, we don't have the crops. There's a growing famine problem. It was over the past, the approximate number was close to 15, I believe. We have seen 15 lowest, recordly low harvests for 15 years in a row. Our farmland is dying faster than our people are. We don't have the food to sustain the people currently living in the overworld, and we will continue to lose that. At the current track the Withering is on, there will be more casualties from starvation in the end of all things than there are from Wither-based injuries. If we take our number of living and we have to add refugees, if we have to take out any sort of resources we could have obtained from the Nether, I'm sure you're all smart enough to do that math. This wasn't a risk we had the resources to take. This isn't something we can pass off. The damage this has done to habitat, it's going to kill us all. It was a reckless move. And I, quite frankly, cannot understand any perspective in which this was the logical route. You asked just for the facts. I'll save my feelings for later. But truly, this didn't have to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call either Teafling or Yukari. Teafling, as someone who is related to the Nether, I would love if you spoke first.
That's a bit of a stretch to call me related to the Nether.
Understood.
That was more Riva's thing, which we all know how that went. Yeah, sure, I'll speak up if that's okay with you, Yukari. Yeah, Benni, you mentioned that this was a reckless thing to do, and I can't exactly disagree. But when it comes to war, sacrifices and consequences are simply a part of it.
Are you familiar with sacrifices?
Very much so. You know what? I think we're both very familiar with sacrifices. And it's true. 200 or so have died already with the effects of Golgotha, and surely things are and probably would continue if it was kept on. But Aroben had to do something, and at least he did something. It was not a trigger that he wanted to pull. This was not a project that we wanted. We didn't want this to happen. Aroben surely didn't. He knew the consequences of it. Somebody had to do something. Sorry. You want me to stick to the facts? If nobody did anything, Cumton would be consumed by the withering for now. And yes, you're right. The tieflings are probably going to have to come here. They can survive here. But the withering at least is going to be pushed back. It wouldn't be here. The only reason why it's pushed back even further now is because we keep upsetting and messing with the horsemen. And I can't exactly say that I am faultless in that. What I'm getting at is that Golgotha was just a part. It was the first step into making this town realize that something had to happen. We had to do something to fight back, or else we would have been consumed by now. And I'm not exactly interested in just letting them take the town, letting them take the world, honestly. Golgotha at least could return some of this farmland back to us, back to the world at large, not just Cumton. Machines like the Wither Conversion Machine exist because they have to, not because we want them to.
I agreed with you so long ago that someone had to do something, enough that I experimented on my own and found something that held it back. The mushrooms. Remind me, who helped take those down? Because the horsemen didn't do it on their own. They
Once
couldn't.
again, I'm not exactly at fault. I was manipulated by death, and I helped Isaac and Trashy. At the time, I thought they were my friends, and admittedly, yes, I am very wrong. I regret it. I do. The mushrooms helped. They were only going to help for so long. Trashy's learned how to destroy them now. It was probably only a matter of time he would have figured it out on his own. And unless the Fae can help build stronger mushrooms, surely I'd love to hear it.
If I may.
Sure. Take the stand.
Let it be known that the Fae have been assisting both Fantasy and Rads. For those of you who are not aware, Rads is a member of the Goddess of Life Iris's very own court, the season of spring. I met Rads some time ago, and Rads helped me re-establish the mushrooms in Cumton even after Trashy had taken them down. Additionally, they assisted in the greenhouse efforts, which were successful and are going to make sure that people in the Nether are not starving. I'm very grateful for this alliance. In the same way, in the past, let it be known that I have attempted to work with the Horseman Tiefling. I know what that's like. I tried for so long to keep Draw on our side. When that fell apart, I started relations with Shavir, and I can only pray that that relationship maintains. We are nothing without our alliances. We are nothing without our friends. I know that, and I think we all know that. I would like to give someone the opportunity to speak that has worked both on Golgotha and has worked with me in attempting to mitigate its efforts. That said, before I call V, Tiefling, I want to make sure I'm not taking away from your time. Is there anything else you needed to say?
No. I've got some questions, but if we're just going through facts right now, I'm pretty sure they can wait.
Thank you. V, if you would please take the floor, I think you would provide some valuable insight to both sides of this conflict.
Thank you. I want to start out. I was there before Golgotha started up, before it started affecting things. I was there and I agreed, same as Tiefling, I'm sure same as Yukari, that something had to be done. Now, Aroben can attest, I didn't like it, of course I didn't, but we all, myself included, sat back as Ari built their conversion machine, as Aroben improved the wither conversion machine, and no one even used it. We once again let Aroben, on his own, cure the trading district, kept Benni's house safe, regardless, even with the deaths, even with the effects on the Nether. Aroben built the machine. But we all had a part in making this outcome. Furthermore, just I want you to keep in mind, this is a man who has consistently, and I mean consistently, put our needs and the needs of Cumton above what he wanted, above what he would be able to sleep at night with doing. And we've all not just failed him, but failed ourselves. Jegg, you talk about friends and you talk about diplomacy, but the person you brought me with you to talk to, the horseman you want on our side, he still was there. Aroben was kidnapped at Shavir's house. All four of them played a part in that.
I do not mean to cut you off, but Aroben, is that true?
I was attacked at Shavir's house by the four horsemen. I did lead them into a trap and fought them for around 5 minutes. But yes, I went to Shavir's house to discuss diplomacy, but I was attacked by all four of them.
I am so sorry.
Now's not the time for that.
V, please continue.
I want to call back to something that I don't think Aroben even knows that I think about, that I remember. Aroben died before Cumton even existed. Aroben died because he ventured into that cave. He tried to save people, save children. And he's been doing the same thing since the entire time. Jegg, Aroben has saved you from Trashy on multiple occasions. Teafling, I don't need to tell you that Aroben spent a long time rebuilding you.
Months.
Even all of you up there, you're residents of Cumton. I guarantee at least one, if not most of you, has had your house saved from the withering because of Aroben's efforts. Hell, the entire trading district would be gone. And you talk about the Fae helping, but where was Fantasy when every effort was being made to contact Iris? Where was Ja during anything? Jegg, I don't blame any of you, especially not you, Jegg. I know that in your own ways you all have what you think to be Cumton's best interests at heart. But there's ideas and there's results. So far, the only one to show any of those has been Aroben. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, V.
Thank you.
There's much more to be said, but I would still like to give Yukari an opportunity as someone else who has worked on the Golgotha project. Yukari, would you like to take the floor?
Yes.
Okay. Whatever you have to share, whatever information you have, feel free.
I don't really know many of the people here. From the moment I stepped foot in this place, it was Ari who became my first friend. And now I have Aroben, the greatest companionship I could have asked for. I have absolutely zero regrets in helping with the Golgotha project. And I can only imagine that that's going to get some mixed opinions out of people. But the thing is, even if we had never done it, or even if it had already worked, I mean, regardless of the way that things turned out, we had to do something. Because even if Golgotha isn't the answer, it gets us closer to it. And even if the mushrooms end up being the correct solution, the point is that we all need to work as a team to get there. We all need to be on the same side of this thing. Whatever the outcome ends up being, whatever the solution to the withering ends up being, the point is that this world and the Nether need to be on the same side. I know Golgotha has had adverse effects on the Nether, but we have always said that we will offer alternative solutions to those problems. Help those people, because if the Nether dies to the withering, it'll be as if us dying to the withering. We're all on the same playing field. The withering affects every single one of us. We help them, we can help ourselves. That's what matters. All this back and forth, it isn't necessary. We just need to come up with a solution. Punishing him for offering a solution isn't going to get us any closer to fixing the problem. We actually have to fix the problem. This whole trial is a waste of time. That's all.
Thank you, Yukari. I would like to take a moment to make something clear to everyone in the room, speaking both as your mayor and as someone who has been in Cumton since the beginning of all this, since before the Horsemen. This isn't about blame for me. This isn't about punishment. I think for a very long time, we've been coming apart, all of us. I don't feel that we are on the same page. There are things that all of you have said that I have agreed with wholeheartedly, and I know that there are pieces of us that still fit together. Yukari, I do believe that we need to work together with the Nether. Yes, you're correct. I think a lot of what you're saying is what I myself have been working toward in order to keep peace with them and their citizens. I think we're stronger as a whole. But I don't think this is a waste of time. Not because I believe we can't move forward without someone being hurt or jailed or punished, but because I think we have to talk about this. Honestly, I'm happy to be here regardless of what brought us here, because we're talking. Honestly. I'd like to call someone to stand, someone who doesn't talk very often, who has in the past offered insight that I don't think any of us have. Ja?
What's up?
Would you please take the floor and share your perspective on our situation?
Well, I would say biggest thing is is obviously Golgotha, right? Golgotha, obviously those numbers that Benny presented are quite insane. But once again, it is to find a solution to a bigger problem that, to be quite honest, I haven't been any help in. And Aroben is truly the only one in this room who has. In my personal opinion, he is today's greatest inventor, mind, whatever you want to say. I don't think this problem is something that we should be solving right now. I agree with Yukari. This is kind of a waste of time if you wanted to save Cumton. But from my perspective, the creation of Golgotha was something that we weren't going to be able to avoid in this situation. It is simply a repeat of history. Honestly, the creation of the totems is almost a dead ringer for this exact situation. A problem that humanity could not solve at the time. We'd find a solution, and that solution ends up to countless lives lost. But I don't want to simply ask the question of should they or shouldn't they. I think the question that we should be asking right now is, can we afford? And could we afford to lose Aroben? The answer to that is no. Not if we want to succeed, not if we want Cumton to survive, not if we want to survive. I would like to highlight the fact that our current situation, Cumton is such a small city that if the horsemen really, truly, honestly were doing their jobs as they want, as efficiently as they wanted to, they wouldn't have started here. They would have started elsewhere. This is personal. Even if Cumton falls, even if we all split apart and go our separate ways, do you think we make it out of this? Any of us? The answer is no. So it's my suggestion that we remain a united front, at least until we've come to a solution. Whether that be through diplomacy or war. But that's pretty much all I got.
Thank you, Ja. There have been many perspectives highlighted so far today, and I'm grateful to all of you for what you've been able to share. You've certainly made me think about more than a few things. I understand many of us have questions for each other, but if everyone's made their opening statements, I just have to ask, is there anything that you have to say before this gets complicated?
Can I take the floor again?
Please do.
I'll stay here.
Okay.
I don't know who I am anymore. These memories of mine feel distant. This isn't meant to cop out of the things I've done, because I've done horrible, horrible things. Things that I will regret till the day I die. And even past that again. I died, I woke up as someone else, and I died again, and I woke up as me. And clarity feels strange, but I'm here. I feel present. Because I've never really been alone in this, but I keep seeing myself as alone in this. Jaw, Solar, and I came together, and we agreed unanimously that we would do whatever we could to stop the withering. There were 3 options on the table. Contact Iris, continue with my wither conversion machine, which currently, at present, cannot operate, as its source of power has been withered. And then Jaw proposed an idea. This is not to cast blame on you, but I would just like that to be aware. We could freeze over the Nether. It could happen in an instant. It's actually not even that hard. To turn the Nether into an icy sheet would take 3 weeks of work and 1 massive machine. But it could be done. And then the withering would be finished. Not just the one in Cumton. Most of it. If not all. But that would mean the eradication of everything that lives in that dimension. Tieflings, flora, fauna. Any unique thing that can come out of there would be flash frozen. And I don't want to do that. It's stuck to me. This idea that it was all we had. And then from basically nowhere, like a savior, came someone new. Someone who had the ideals and the determination to lead us like she had done before. And she gave us a new direction, a new opportunity, a new choice. All we had to do was kill Draw. At the time, I was still working on the Wither Conversion Machine Mark II. I had spent months, maybe even longer, working on it, building it. I had lost sleep. I had strained my relationship with my family. I didn't allow myself a break. And I took that out on you, Jegg. I'm sorry for that. Once I finished it, I gave it to the newcomer, and I gave it to Solar, and I gave it to whoever was left. And I said, here you go. This machine is yours. You have 6 charges. The newcomer looked at me and asked, what do you mean you have 6 charges? I wanted to be done. I wanted out. I even said, I'm done. But I couldn't walk away. Not because of their words, but because I wanted to help. I needed to help. I felt that if I didn't, something bad would happen. The results of what happened that day don't matter. But we killed a horseman. And for a brief moment, I felt that we could win. That we could save humanity and we could not be plagued by this. I am unique enough amongst these people to understand what a life before the withering was like, and I can tell you it was amazing. Very few people nowadays can even remember a time before it swept over everything. But I do. And when that hope, that small ember of hope, was dashed and stomped out in front of me, it hurt. It hurt because I knew that I was out of options. I sent the newcomer away. I brought them back to their home dimension. I made deals with gods that will forever haunt me. And in return, I was dedicated to the new job, this new task, something that even though I hated, I knew it could work. And I found a way. I found a way to take Jaw's idea and my idea and make them work. I built Golgotha. You are almost mistaken in how it operates, and that's fine. Golgotha's main thing is it burns archwood en masse and harvests a small, potent source that is left within inside the lava. Holding that lava for refinement is what is cooling the nether. That is how Golgotha operates, and that is why it is an issue. When I built Golgotha, I only had it operating for 3 weeks before I cured the trading district in one action. It was amazing. For a brief moment, I felt that I could win. That we wouldn't need to fight the horsemen, that this is something that we could do. I was caught up in my ego. I was caught up in myself and the things I thought I was capable of. And I do not expect forgiveness. That is why I'm fine with whatever comes out of this trial. Because I've said and I've done horrible things, and especially the thing I said to you, Benni. I will never ask for your forgiveness, but I want you to know I regret it. The next day, I approached Shavir. I knew it was a trap. There's no way it wasn't. I could even see them preparing. I could see everything. I lured them out into a field of traps. We fought for so long. I even managed to harm most of them. Then it was just me and Trashy. And I ran away. But he knew. Caught me off guard and trapped me in a geode underground. For months, I was tortured. Obviously, I'm lacking an arm, I'm lacking an eye, and I'm lacking most of my internal organs. My identity, my everything has been ripped from me. But I don't think that's enough to atone for what I've done. Golgotha isn't even my biggest sin. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. Because it gives me faith that, even without me, I know Cumton is in good hands. You are brilliant, and you will do amazing things. Jaw, if you manage to stick around, I would not be surprised if we manage to live. My sons are brilliant and represent everything of me that I wish I could have been. You two have been the greatest friends I could have ever asked for. And Jegg, you are wise and you are capable. And that there is no one in this world I trust more than you. That is all.
Thank you. Moving forward, I know that some of us had questions for each other. I know that I have some myself, but I'm willing to wait. Would anyone like to begin as I am opening the floor for the time being? If no one... Yes.
I have less of questions, more of a rebuttal. More
You are welcome.
context.
Okay.
God, where do I start? I felt incredibly frustrated with the statement, the idea that Aroben had no other option, that he had no help, that he had just himself. I believe I'm someone with I believe I currently am the only person who has this full context. I don't see a way anyone else could. But I know every step, every minute of Solar's time here. The place I went to was much like a library. It had different sections for each of us, each of my lives. And Solar's was there too. And when Solar came back into my body, her story continued. The record of her story continued. And every night, the book describing, detailing the day, scene by scene, second by second, would be found in the library. And I spent every minute I could reading and keeping updated in horror and shock. 2 of my best friends are dead. 2 of the mentors I looked up to have become shells of themselves. I've lost a lot. And I spent that period of time, majority of that loss, reading it through the pages. So I know extra context. I know that you mentioned the machine and you say nobody used it. Well, you showed us that machine right before we settled on assassinating Draw. Apologies, I say we. Solar did not have the time to begin to understand the way the machine worked because she was too busy training to kill. We were too busy planning Draw's death. Apologies, Solar was too busy. You led that charge. And I will admit, it was very clear that Solar had no intention to resist it. But we can't just say that she did nothing with the machine purely because, oh well, she didn't want to, she was busy. And on top of that, you make all these claims about having no help, about pushing yourselves. Actually, at this point, it doesn't even sound like you're saying that. It sounds like everyone else is. Every step of the way, Solar was begging for something to do. It was begging to be understood that she had a certain bit of power left. She was burning herself at both ends. She burnt herself to the ground, trying to be helpful. All she wanted at the end of this was to be helpful. And I watched as every time, Aroben, you passed her grunt work. You asked her to cut down trees. She cleared forests in days. She worked 18 hours for as long as she could. I still have so much backlog. I still have more archwood than I have storage for. Because you gave her a task and she wanted to do it. She believed in you. You did so much of this on your own when you did not have to. And it's been so frustrating to hear everyone spread that like it's the truth. You had a damn near demigod at your side with a time limit, and you let that timer run out. As far as other statements made, I appreciate the flowery words. Everyone needs to be a team. We need not just ideals, but actions. But they burn so dearly. I understand that everyone needs to work together. Long before any of this, I don't think very few in the room remember, but I had an entire beach day. I planned a little party so that we could all get together so I could say, hey, actually, we need to group up and join all of our ideas. I mentioned the mushrooms previously. I had momentum with that. I had serious momentum with that. And it died out because I no longer had control of myself. And no one wanted to pick back up on my work. We can have great inventions, we can have great inventors, but without ethics, those inventions only stand to harm. I understand the want to forgive and the want to see the good and see the positive, but I've seen this story from the eyes of someone who thought so positively of you. And time again, I could only see your own self-deprecation getting up your ass. You did things on your own because you wanted to, not because you had to. You had so much help in your corner. You decided the track you're on, and for that reason, I cannot have empathy. I understand you've reflected, and I'm glad. I don't believe that means I have to forgive you. And I don't think that means you're safe to be here. I don't trust you. I can't. It all just sounds like the same crying that everything has sounded like. And as far as current action, if anyone wants to be involved, I have been making efforts. You mentioned what you're refining from the archwood was source. Source can also be grown. It is gathered from plants. And while a one-person army is not strong enough to get it all, if we had more hands, there is serious potential. I mean, hell, I'm damn near bedridden for half the day, surviving on painkillers, and this morning I was able to collect nearly 60 jars myself. We have other options. Golgotha should never have happened. And I understand you may have believed that you were doing something good, all of you, but you're wrong. And it's time to grapple with that, and it's time to accept that. And we have to do something else, do something better, and we have to act harshly. We don't want to kick people out. We want to be nice. We want to play all sides. I get it. We want to be everyone's friend. We can't. It's the hard truth. We can't. I've been talking for longer than I should have. That's all of my thoughts.
Thank you.
Exactly what is your relationship with Jegg? What is your goal in keeping him around?
Right. As I understand it, Shavir is the Horseman of Conquest as well as the King of Hell. When we realized that we could not turn Golgotha off, and that its continued existence could lead to all-out war, not just with the Horsemen, but with the Nether, I reached out and promised that I would mitigate its effects. I promised that we would work to try to minimize any damage, because that was all we could do. As previously stated, that was before I was aware of what he was doing to you. As I understood it, he was not yet active. Not in the same way that I had seen Trashy or heard about famine during my months abroad. Not to mention Draw. I thought, yes.
No. Speaking of, what was your relationship with her? You tried to keep her around in Cumton for a very long time. What was your goal? Sure, I get the political side of you and Shavir getting to know each other. That, in a sense, makes sense.
For the longest time, Draw was holding back, was restraining that power, and the longer I got to know her, the more time we spent together, being friends, being allies, it seemed like she didn't have to be this angel of death. I am not the only person in this room who has held out hope for someone. But you're right, Teafling. I have made many mistakes.
And so have I. I'm not going to deny that everybody in this room has made a mistake. I mean, hell, Benni, you're here. I'm not going to deny what I did.
I don't think we can count all mistakes as equal in this situation.
Fair
And if we're
enough.
talking about opinions and we're talking about enemies, then I have a hard time being in a room with someone who killed me.
That's fair. I wasn't planning on being in a room with you today as well. I regret working with Trashy and Isaac. I regret being their friend temporarily. And I regret killing you, Benni. I do, genuinely. I was foolish in thinking that I could solve everybody's problems. I admit, it was foolish. But I'm not the one on trial today. And for some reason, we're looking at Aroben. Aroben, you've done nothing but try and help everybody else. Except for yourself. And that's been such... That's the whole reason why we're here. I don't know.
I'm aware that this can seem confusing. The fact of the matter is, Aroben has been at the center of so much that has happened in Cumton. I would like to turn attention to the subject of that newcomer that you mentioned, Aroben.
Before that, may I offer that we take a short recess?
Yeah, I think I need to... I'd like that.
I think that makes sense. Thank you.